Hi everyone, I'm continuing this Daf Yomi series at the moment. That was probably very, very embarrassing, wasn't it? And that's all we're talking about, friends, in today's stuff. It's all about embarrassment situations. In fact, I like to do something wacky for the first 3 seconds. A person on social media once said that the first 3 seconds of every video counts in order to get attention. We live in 2024 where you've got to be creative, even if you're talking Torah. I'm competing here as a Torah teacher, a Torah educator, with all the different walks of life, all the sporty people on social media, all the different, let's just say, stars on multimedia. So you've got to be as creative as possible. What can you do with this but to catch your attention? Friends, we're talking all about, in today's page, ATC 6 of Masechet Bava Kamma. We're talking all about embarrassment, potentially. One of the payments of compensation of damages if someone gets injured or something happens to someone is going to be within regards to embarrassment. There's got to be compensation for it. And how powerful is embarrassment also? You know, one of the things that they say that one of the most powerful things is if someone is embarrassed in public and stays silent, doesn't answer back, it justifies the world of existence. I heard this from Rabbi David Kaplan once of Yeshivat Samech, and it's got the power for so much. Obviously, we're going to learn also that one should not engineer a situation where they humiliate themselves and say, oh, look, I've got embarrassed. Let me give you all the blessings over here. You can't do that. That just doesn't work over there. So we know there's 5 obligations that a person may have towards his friend if he damages someone, let's just say. One of them is boshet, one of these payments that he's going to have to attribute, which is a payment for embarrassment over here. By the way, stay online. Listen to this. I'm going to save a few personal stories of embarrassment where it could have been good, could have not been good. And it's always good to share some things over. According to the Mishnah on our page over here, the obligation of boshet only takes effect if it was done with the intention of embarrassing over here. That was his intention over here. It wasn't that happenstancing. And it remains in force even if the person who is embarrassed, let's say naked or even sleeping, let's just say. There's a brighter which is brought by the Gemara, points out that although there is an obligation to pay boshet, even if the person is, let's just say, naked or something like that, the amount that he will have to pay is based on the level of embarrassment, and we can assume that the embarrassment will be less for someone who was, let's just say, already naked than someone who was fully clothed also. The Gemara could ask the question also over here. Is a naked person someone who can be embarrassed over here? Is it or not? Obviously, seemingly yes, because we know that we know this from the Torah. I think from Parshat Bereshit, the which Medrash relates over the embarrassment of Adam and Chava, if I'm not mistaken. Can someone in the bathhouse be embarrassed over there? Could be inside the bathhouse. People might not. That's a common thing, but people will just generally be embarrassed, I would assume. So Rashi explains these questions according to their simple meaning. If someone is not wearing clothing, he shows that he is not concerned with even the most elementary issue of personal modesty. So he's put that situation there. So he cannot be embarrassed over there. If he's done that, then that's on him. Tosfot actually disagrees over here, the commentator, arguing that even someone without clothes will suffer embarrassment. Let's say if someone slaps him or spits on him or something like, he can, just by him not wearing clothes, he can still get humiliated. According to Tosafot, we are discussing only one type of embarrassment over here. If someone unclothes his friend, this, according to Tosafot, the Gemara's question, if he is already unclothed, what further embarrassment can he suffer in the realm? Or within regards to, let's just say, the bathhouse, in a place where everyone, let's say, takes off their garments, what embarrassment is there in having one's clothes removed over there? That's what we could argue. So a commentator named Rav Papa explains that we are talking in a case where the person was not fully undressed. He might have had some clothes on, but that his clothing was lifted up by the wind, let's just say, and his friend removed his clothing completely. And that could be the things. It could be other arguments also, for example, that in the case of the bathhouse, we must be talking about bathing by the river where people do, let's just say, remove their clothing, but still are careful about issues of modesty. Like, since that it is still a public place, so people will be worried. So many people could get embarrassed in many different situations. I'll give a few examples of look, potentially I was in many cases of humiliation, I could say, or something like that. But friends, let me give over a few stories over here. We are a community here, so it's always good to share personal things. I remember once in university, let's go to university stories. Like in the previous video I said, I think one time I was, many embarrassing moments could have happened, but just one doesn't really stick to mind. I think we were in a party. I think it was the first year of university, and I was about to drink a Coca-Cola. I won't recommend anyone to drink Coke. And there were a few people giggling, and I was drinking it. And then what was going on over here? What was going on? It seemed like everyone knew what the joke was. So then it turned out that this person put a lot of salt inside the Coke. I didn't feel it at the time. And for some reason it was funny, but I wasn't that bothered because I didn't really feel it. Also, other embarrassing things could be, you get caught cheating. I remember as in primary school, one time there was a teacher and I was cheating in the exam. I was sitting at the back. I must have been like 9 years old. I was humiliated. I was embarrassed at the end. And the teacher caught me and he caught me red-handed and exposed it to the class. That's why you're cheating. He could be embarrassing, getting insulting also. I remember, obviously having a long last name. I remember in school, I always dreaded when the school teacher would announce my name. It was every single time, in the registration it could have been. Then, especially the PE teacher, the physical education teacher, he would actually do a registration to see who's attended this physical education class. I was 13, 14. Then when it came to my name, I was dreading it because obviously being a long last name, it could be difficult for some people to pronounce. And he would make a whole motion of it. He'll do a dancing with it, and that is public embarrassment, potentially. And I remember to this day, very proud of my family name. I wouldn't swap it for anything. But, at the time, as a 13, 14-year-old, you can get embarrassed by these kind of things, especially when everyone is watching in the class and everyone starts giggling. There's, and this can happen like hundreds and hundreds of times. Imagine the humiliation that it can give to someone. And that very much, I felt also that many other cases. I think one time when I was 16, it was while I was doing my GCSE exams, I remember it was Lag BaOmer, and I was in the house. I drank quite a lot. I remember being with another friend. He was from my class in school. He's actually a rabbi now. He's a posek. I think a big Rav. So I remember I was so drunk. I was like running around the house, and I think with some sort of vest top or something. I was gone. That's another occasion. That I brought on myself, obviously, because I did the drinking, and that's not from a third party. So sometimes there's a chiluk over here, a difference. If someone makes a fool of themselves because they brought it on themselves, they've drank too much, they've done something to deserve the embarrassment, or there's a chiluk if someone's just ordinary doing the things, and the other people throw the embarrassment upon themselves. Someone could be asleep and decide to pour cream all over the person as a joke. They'll think it's funny. Everyone will be giggling, and the poor person that gets a humiliation will be embarrassed at the end. That's obviously very much not good whatsoever. And one's got to be careful not to embarrass someone else in public, to insult someone else. I've done that also, and I'm guilty of myself. And there's something one's got to be careful about. If you want to ask for forgiveness, maybe by bringing it up again, say, hey, excuse me, I'm sorry, I called you this name, I called you that name. It's going to make the person feel bad. I remember one time also, I think it was 15 years ago, someone came up to me, someone who did Teshuvah, became very religious, and he said, look, I'm so sorry, I did all these things to you while you were in primary school, I remember, I'm so sorry. So then all of a sudden I was saying it's fine, but in the back of my mind I'm saying, why bring it up now? Now you want me to feel bad again about it? So one's got to have some sechel. Someone's got to have when you're asking for apology. So there's a chiluk in embarrassment. Or you're bringing it onto yourself, or has it happened just from circumstance? And humiliation is very bad. And everyone's got to be careful what they say. This whole book of Hilchot Lashon Hara over here. I would like to dedicate this video for Linda Bat Modean. Okay, Linda Bat Modean, a mother. So she needs a refuah shlema, and apparently is very sick in hospital with pneumonia at the moment. So please pray for her. Burst yourselves with tears for for heaven. The one thing you shouldn't be embarrassed sometimes is when you're doing the avodat Hashem, or working for Hashem. That's something where one should not be embarrassed about. One should be pouring and everything else. Guys, have a great day and take care and Shabbat Shalom.